Aussie. Aussie.
Okay, let's see if I'm catching people by surprise, and if no one knows I'm on and doesn't get a notification, and no one joins the stream. That'd be a whole thing. If you're watching this back, I'm doing this as an experiment, doing my stream at a totally different time. Probably should. Hi Lee, how you doing? You've broken the question of will anyone be here? No. I wasn't going to do a stream tonight. Mrs. Angry is having a Zoom call with her family in her office for the next hour or so, and I thought, nah, I'll just hang out. It's not my usual time. I'll just hang out for an hour or so, see what happens. Cheeky Sunday night drink, although this is non-alcoholic, just having a huge Pepsi. I only just had dinner just before coming on, and I normally have a non-alcoholic beverage with dinner. I didn't even drink it, so it's still mostly there. So easing into the night. I think I know what I'll do. I'm gonna have a whiskey drink. Justin, you've been hearing cannon fire. The new king. That's a bit weird. Hello, Greg. How y'all doing? So a while ago, an hour or two ago, I shot a video for my cocktail channel comparing Australian whiskies with overseas whiskies. It's Bourbon Heritage Month in the US, and this is what kicked the idea off. I have an Australian whiskey that's done in the style of bourbon, follows all the rules for bourbon, apart from it's not made in the US, so they can't call it bourbon. I compared it to an American bourbon, and then I compared an American rye with an Australian rye, and then a peated Scotch with a peated Australian whiskey, and then compared two Starward whiskies, an entry-level one and a more expensive single malt. Little tastes of 8 whiskies, enough to get me kind of pissed, quite honestly. I was a little inebriated after that, so... Justin, look, you might be right. King instead of queen. The queen was kind of touchy-feely, made a lot of people feel warm and fuzzy. Yeah, and there's something about King Chuckles, not the same vibe. I'm just going to say it, not the same vibe. So it remains to be seen how long the monarchy lasts. Certainly, I am very much hopeful that Australia becomes a republic, because fuck this ridiculous appointed foreign head of state. It's just fucking ridiculous. Oh, nicely, got a new Ferrari friend. Nicely done, that man. I haven't made any friends because I don't go out. And I have no interest in meeting people. I don't want any friends. Yes, musically better. I do not give two shits what the Brits do with monarchy. Absolutely should not be our constitutional head of state. It's ridiculous. Even if it's largely ceremonial and symbolic, it's a shit symbol and should not be there. So Not even the littlest bit of grey for me on that front. Hey, Safa, how are you this evening? Oh, well, that answers my question. Are people going to notice that I'm doing a stream earlier? Yes, is the apparent answer. So that's good. That's good to know. Because I probably won't do another stream until Thursday. So it's like, even though I just did 3 in a row, I thought, I'll do one more because then there's going to be a break. I don't know. I'm not making any hard and fast decisions about Tuesday night until I get to Tuesday night, basically. I'm going to try and do another pre-recorded video this week. I need inspiration, though. I'm very happy with how my you're racist if you don't like black elves in Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power. I'm very happy with how that video went because it pulled fucking morons out of the woodwork, which is just hilarious. Greg, I also don't want a Trump. See, I mentioned this in another stream. I'm in no way convinced we need someone as a president, as a head of state. I have no idea why we can't just continue with our parliamentary democracy. If there was some constitutional law expert who wants to explain to me why having a head of state separate to the parliamentary party is a good idea, I'd be interested. Hey, Shieldsy, how you going? A long time no see. Safa, tonight's stream's probably about an hour. As I said right at the top, Mrs. Angry is doing a Zoom call with her family in the other room. Usually goes for about an hour. Sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes less. So this stream is probably going to be about an hour. Sammy Square, you love watching the British Army LARP on TV. Oh, dear. Just an ACT doesn't have a governor. There you go. And again, the state governors who are vice-regal appointees, fucking stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid. And currently, yes, the regal representatives in Australia, governors and governor general, are appointed by the government, not by Buckingham. So, yeah, I just would be interested in someone establishing a case of why that sort of structure is important. Shieldsy, all alone. Mum and Nana and Dad all ran away for a long trip. Oh, well, I'll keep you company for at least a little while tonight. Like every now and then, like with all those bottles, because you're like a new limited edition from a distillery I like will be advertised, or I'll see something on special and go, that's a good story. I haven't got too many. I'll get that. And then every now and then I got to look at it and go, Jesus Christ, I haven't even tasted that bottle in 6 months or 12 months. It's redonkulous. So I'm going to make probably just an old-fashioned with a whiskey I haven't tasted for a while for fun. Should we change our flag? Of course we should fucking change the flag. Fucking Union Jack needs to fuck the fuck off. I like that idea, Lee. When you save up enough to buy a Ferrari, you won't. Use it to buy a house. Yes, a Ferrari is a rather ridiculous extravagance. There are whole industries designed to just take money from rich people. Give rich people something to spend their excess wealth on. You know, like watches that cost tens of thousands of dollars, cars that run into the $1 million range. And of course, the absolute top end is luxury yachts. that the oligarchs spend millions, tens of millions. I think the top end ones go for more than 100 million. Like absolutely farcical. Like that is the ultimate extravagance for an oligarch like Musk or Bezos. And I think Bezos actually did hit the record for the most expensive. So it's ridiculous. Yeah, Lee, you raise another point. The low bit with sports cars. I couldn't drive a sports car. I'm too fucking old, man. My legs climbing down into a sports car and climbing out. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm not going to drive although I can see the case for people who have serious mobility, those raised four-wheel drive type things are more manageable for them. But I'm going to have a car that's not low, basically. Yes, I think we all agree Trump sucks and Palmer sucks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the US system because, like, with our system, although there are public servants who advise the government and act in roles, policy decisions are always made by elected people. Government ministers are elected. The president's cabinet in the US are all appointed. They're not elected. I honestly don't like that. Yeah. I can't understand. I know the idea of the American system, the three wings of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. There's the idea they're checks and balances, and they kind of sort of are. But of course, the High Court in Australia is not seen as such a powerful institution like the High Court in the Supreme Court in the United States is. Although they can make laws. Same as judges in Australia can effectively make law through precedent. Oh, Shieldsy doing a new island jetty. Nice. I like a jetty. I like a jetty. I'm not even being sarcastic. I do. I like being able to walk out along the water a bit. Whether it's just to hang or fish, or I assume it's actually a functional thing in your case for boats to come up to. And they look nice. I think jetties tend to look nice as well, as long as they're not horrible design. But of all the things I would have predicted talking about tonight, I would not have put jetties on the list. But here we are. Here we jolly well are. So, okay, well, that's the non-alcoholic portion of the evening done. Gonna make an old-fashioned. So, okay, you're getting barges. 50% done. 2 new ferries. Moving up in the world on your little island. Right. So this is not one of the whiskies I tasted today. I tasted a bunch of whiskies. But I just got the idea. Where is it? Here. A Texas single malt. Balcones. 53%. It's a bit punchy. All right, I'm going to get a glass. Get a glass. Going to get a big chunk of ice. Okay. Yep. Using up most of my ice. Okay, here we go. That goes in there. All right. Ooh. And I want a skewer for my garnish. Probably need a little spoon to catch a cherry, in fact. Oh, and I think I'll use my cherry syrup in this. Right. Right, you bloody well right. Okay, so I didn't get my jigger while I was standing up. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot. Jigger. Chris. All right. Okay, so we are on like Donkey Kong. Okay. So, Justin, the US Department secretaries are meant to be apolitical. You won't see the rally. That's just window dressing. They're appointed by the fucking president. Of course, they're completely political picks. That's just fucking lying to people. That's a farce. Okay. Go for our very strong Texas whiskey. And it smells like coffee and dark chocolate. Very distinctive aroma and taste, this one. What do we want? A couple of dashes of Angostura bitters. Got my orange that I like to use for a garnish, so we'll cut some peel. All right. Smells great. Oh yeah. Squeeze those orange oils over the top. Wipe it around the rim so you just get a little orange aroma. Where do I put my... All right. Cherries. Got my cherries. Love the maraschino cherries. Oh, what's this? Oh, God damn it. You know those like really neon cherries that you get in drinks sometimes? Glacé cherries? I never thought they were real cherries. Turns out they are. They go through this weird process where they're bleached. And I mean like with hardcore fucking chemicals. And so then they're this sort of gross pasty white color. And then they're soaked in colored sugar water. And you get they're usually red or green, although they can be other colors. That was a real revelation. But I saw one of those how it's made things. And it was how glacé cherries are made. And I was genuinely surprised that they were real cherries. Because I always thought they were sugar, basically. I mean, they mostly are by the time that process finishes. So much sugar in them. And these ones, the Marasca cherries, these are very upmarket compared to those neon glacé cherries. Soaked in Marasca syrup. They're super tasty. Freaking love these. Which I wouldn't have years ago. I would, if you go back 10 years, I would probably be very surprised if you told me I'd end up just really liking these cherries because I didn't think I was a cherry person. Justin, you're saying there's a requirement to be apolitical. Well, okay, with the actual, like the non-secretaries of whatever, there'd be a bit more people being less overtly political, but I don't know, it actually just fucking annoys me when they're selling a big lie, saying the people appointed by the president are not political. That's fucking horse shit. Absolute horse shit. I don't like being treated like an idiot. Anyway, old-fashioned time. It's smoky. Shields, are you saying yuck to ice? You absolute weirdo. Actually, I think this is such full-on flavor. It might go better in either a Manhattan or a New Orleans style drink that's very boozy. I mean, it's a nice old-fashioned. Very smoky. It's not in the same way that you get those smoky scotches, peated scotches. It's not like that at all. But it's got just a little bit kind of like sweet barbecue sauce. That's very, very tasty. It's weird, the divergence that happens here. Whiskey. People say, what's that? That's a whiskey. Thousands of whiskeys in the world. And they're not all radically different from each other. Like you put some side by side, they can be very hard to tell apart. But within that spectrum of all the whiskeys that have made, it's like they've got almost no relationship to one another. You get you taste some of them and put them together. How are these considered the same thing? These are absolutely different. And it's just because, I guess the production technique has some similarity. So it's like they're whiskey. It's a grain alcohol, matured in barrels. All right. So, it's nice for a change. I wouldn't drink this one every day. And as I said, this is probably the first, although, it's down a bit. This is probably the first time I've tasted it, I don't know, in at least 6 months. Like, it's just been sitting there. I don't think I've used it in anything for a long time. But, getting a bit of variety. And I like that. I like a bit of variety. What is my computer doing to me? All right, I was just wondering if anything much had happened. I like to look at the news headlines and see if there's anything interesting that I've missed. Usually not. Russia announces troop pullback from Ukraine's Kharkiv area. Oh, wow. How, this Putin's Ukraine invasion is a fucking disaster. How the fuck is he going to survive this? It's absolutely fucking weird. Oh my God, that's right. We're getting a public holiday. Day of mourning for the Queen. I'd be so fucking angry if I was still a contractor. Because as a contractor, you don't get paid for public holidays. And the idea that I'd be losing a day's pay over that bullshit, I'd be fucking ropeable. But I'm a permanent employee now, so I get paid. So haha. And also for us in Melbourne, it's the day before the grand final parade, public holiday, 4-day weekend, motherfuckers. That's 8, but it's like 4-day weekend coming up. Fuck yeah. I think that's in 2 weeks. So yeehaw. Look out for me getting shit-faced. Actually, the first one, Thursday, I'm not going to do a stream on the Wednesday night. But who knows what'll happen on Thursday and Friday. Might really be in a bit of a mood. Oh, Musical Elevator, you're taking 5 days off as well. There you go. Oh yeah, you've got time off booked for a LARP camp. Well, excellent break for you. Still think that this is a fucking farce. Ooh, earthquake in PNG. Oh, Jesus Christ. Good food. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking because I always read booze articles. Negronis are shaping up as the cocktail of 2022. Motherfucker, Negronis were the cocktail of 2-3 years ago. They're still popular, but trying to say, "Oh, we've caught on to a cutting edge trend. We've got a great trend. We're ahead of the Negroni." Not everyone was making fucking Negronis 2-3 years ago or more. I don't like them because they've got Campari in them. Fucking hate Campari. Oh, nice. Lee, 10-year marriage anniversary. Congratulations to the two of you. That's excellent. Oh, God. It's just like fucking royal family, royal family, royal family, royal family. Jesus, fuck. Oh, God. Someone crashed their car into a lake in Perth's northeast. 2 people drowned. Good Lord. And free public transport across New South Wales for Chuckles' proclamation. It's just like, what? Three-quarters of COVID deaths in aged care have happened in 2022. Of fucking course, that's what's been happening. We've been in this denial. It's like, yeah, let's just go back to normal. There have been more cases and more deaths this year than all the other previous years of the pandemic put together. All the decisions have been political. They haven't been about health. We are basically in the middle of the 1-year anniversary of New South Wales fucking it for all of us, like having a major outbreak and doing fuck all to stop it. Previous to that, every state had taken strong measures to keep outbreaks under control. New South Wales just went, no, and that was it. It was done for all of us. And yeah, so we've just been in this big fucking denial ever since. Justin, 21 years since 9/11. Yeah, there you go. People who weren't born can legally drink in the US. Oh, dear. I fucking hate with a passion despite, but yeah, just generally hating all this media about the fucking Royals. But even prior to this, the particularly conservative tabloid media's obsession with writing stuff about Meghan Markle, fuck me. Just fucking hell. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, God. There's so Good Food published a Sydney version and a Melbourne version of their fucking Negroni alternatives. See, this is me. I'm being a snob and a wanker, criticizing them because they're going, oh, it's the happening cocktail. No, it was the fucking happening cocktail 2-3 years ago, at least, probably longer. And yeah, people are still making it. It's really popular. It's really weird. I don't like the 2 most popular cocktails in Melbourne. Hipsters do Negronis. And I don't like Negronis because I don't like Campari. And more mainstream people do espresso martinis, and I don't like coffee. So it's like the 2 most popular cocktails in Melbourne. I don't like either of them. And again, that's not me being a hipster. It's just I actually feel like I'm missing out, particularly with the Negroni, because it's like all the cutting edge bartenders want to have their own take on a Negroni, and I never fucking like it because it's too bitter. Justin, your email address is older than 18. Still use Yahoo. I'm trying to think. I have a Yahoo email address. which I don't really use for very much, but I still have it. I have a couple of Gmail addresses, like because I have YouTube. But my first Gmail account was from when you had to get invited to have a Gmail account. So that's how long I've had a Gmail account. And actually, how long ago was that? April Fool's 2004. So my Gmail account is about 18 years old. And my Yahoo one's probably about the same. I was using that when I was dating. So yeah, my Gmail account's 18 years old, and my Yahoo account is 17, 18 years old. And no, Safra, I never had AOL. I had my first couple were tied to the ISPs. That's like what used to be limited. And then there were webmail ones. I had a couple of webmail ones. There was an extension I liked for an email. It was technologist.com because I use that for work because I could personalize that, put my name on it, and it kind of sounded like going into IT. And my email address is at technologist.com. Justin, there used to be a Garfield themed email service. Did it not work on Mondays? Were they that true to the Garfield theme that your email hated Mondays and wouldn't work? That's actually a new one on me. I am not familiar with the Garfield email. I'm just having little flashbacks now to the 90s, early 2000s, when we didn't know what the internet was going to be. And there would be all sorts of weird websites and services, and yeah, you kind of had no idea. And I just thought of a weird one. This is not going to resolve. We're a very old website, not hosted anymore. It was fucker.com, and it wasn't a porn site. It was someone sort of being hip. I think they were going to sell email addresses at fucker.com. All right. What do we want? Yes, the sorry, I just looked up fucker.com, and it is taken, but no one's doing anything with it. But they went, here's a great alternative, fucker.com.au. Apparently they'll register fucker.com.au. I almost want to do it. Fucker.net.au. Fucker.blog. There are so many fuckers. Fucker Digital. Wow. The temptation to get fucker.com.au. So strong. Sorry. Just the original Gmail was Garfield email. Okay, that's funny if true. Well, again, Musical Aviator, we joke about the internet being for porn. It's not even most web traffic. I mean, most of what's transmitted across the internet is spam, emails, etc. Highest traffic websites. 50 most visited websites. Google's number one. YouTube's number two. Facebook's number three. And I think they are, oh no, they are counting porn. Okay, I was going to say they're not counting porn. Xvideos has more traffic than Pornhub. Very close to the same. Xvideos is in the Czech Republic. Pornhub's based in Canada. There you go. But they're a long way behind. Like Google, 92 billion monthly visitors. Pornhub and Xvideos, less than 3.5 billion, which is honestly still a lot of people watching porn. But yes, that's so what Google through Google and YouTube get 40 times more traffic than the top trafficked porn websites. There you go. Oh gosh, Konstantinos, the angry phone. No, I have not had the angry phone. I don't know, for probably 10 years. I did have it for a while, and it was fun. But it's not something I'm in any urge to do. I think. Musical Aviator, I do actually agree that song, The Internet's for Porn, is very funny. All right, I am searching it. Was Garfield Mail the original Gmail? Garfield Mail, the original Gmail. That's not true. Garfield did offer a G-mail service, but did so from gmail.garfield.com. It's a subdomain from garfield.com. Separately, a company called US Email offered a webmail service from gmail.com, and US Email shut down in the early 2000s. Ownership of gmail.com passed through at least one other owner, a now defunct Burbank law firm, before being obtained by Google in early 2004. So there you go. You're not quite accurate, Justin. They did refer to Gmail on the Garfield site, but the email domain would have actually been at gmail.garfield.com. But I learned something today, the history of Gmail. So that's still a good thing to have learned something. I feel enlightened. So yes, we live in a complex, mysterious world. So actually, I wanted to look at something else, because second result, Gizmodo saying the original Gmail was Garfield. Oh, no, even this one says it was at gmail.garfield.com. Though other sources have mistakenly stated otherwise. Who's that? Who said it wrong? Apparently it was once on Wikipedia. It won't be now. No, Wikipedia have removed all reference to Garfield. So there you go. Strange things indeed. We live in a strange and varied universe. All right. I'm going to pour another drink. My clarified cocktail, which needs sweetener added to it. My lemon cordial that I made because I'm very clever. But there's a lot of it, so I want to use it up. Okay. That might have been a bit much, but that's okay. It's all right. Oh, I was thinking of making a pina colada, but I probably won't now. This is probably enough alcohol for one evening. Give it a little in-glass stir. All right. How's that going? Oh, wow, that's good. Yummy. Yummy. Okay. Speaking of the G, has Google News got anything else interesting to tell me? China says it discovered a new lunar mineral. Maybe. What exactly is a black hole? The mind-blowing amount of black holes in the universe. Why go back to the moon? Well, lots of space. Oh, it's the science section, I guess. SpaceX. Lots of space stuff. New York detects polio in wastewater. Like, yay, anti-vaxxers. Ugh. No, that's boring. I don't want that. But God, polio. That's all we need. Fucking return of polio, for fuck's sake. Justin, mining the moon would have to have something incredibly mind-blowingly valuable for that to be a worthwhile thing to do. Unless by one day you mean 1,000 years from now when we have a lunar colony, then it would be reasonable. Like if there was people there full time. Because yes, just transport between the moon and Earth is staggeringly expensive. Like the way things are now, I think there would have to be something on the moon that was 1,000 times more valuable than anything on Earth for it to be worthwhile. There's all the talk about mining asteroids as well. There could be asteroids out there, in at least a semi-regular orbit that are, made of incredibly rare metals. But in terms of the timeline for that, I mean, as I always say when bringing up predictions, trying to predict the future is a mug's game. So something could change radically in the next 50 years, either to make things on the moon more likely or less likely. Like there could be amazing breakthroughs on Earth that would mean lunar travel was more run of the mill. We could have a extreme collapse of civilization as we know it, which would put any sort of space thing back potentially centuries. Who knows? Again, stuff changes so fast. You think you know where things are going, and then there's something that's every day that you could not have possibly predicted 10 years previous. Justin, that's a fun one. So technically, to be a US citizen, you just have to be born in the to be US president, you have to be born in the United States. So I'm not sure what citizenship Harry's kids have. And I'm not exactly sure how that works. If they were born in the United States, then were given like British nationality, but then wanted to go back to being US, would they qualify? I don't know. I actually don't know the subtleties and the ins and outs of that. The reason I don't know is because I don't really care very much. So. But yeah, no, that's an interesting thought experiment, how people would take that. Justin, I think the phrasing, we're on the internet, let's look it up. US president have to be born in the US. Legal requirements for presidential candidates have remained the same since the year Washington accepted presidency. As directed by the Constitution, a presidential candidate must be a natural-born citizen of the United States, a resident for 14 years, and 35 years of age or older. And I think that term, natural born, is open to some interpretation because, for instance, John McCain was born on a US base overseas, but hello, Karen, by the way. Lovely to see you. Natural born means born as a citizen. Yes, but by the same token, I don't know what the status of Harry's kids is in terms of where they were born and citizenship, etc. I know it never got much traction, but some people were suggesting John McCain may not have been eligible to be US president because he was born on a military base overseas. Justin saying Ted Cruz was born in Canada. Sucks to be you, Canada. So I assume we're saying both of Ted Cruz's parents were US citizens and they wanted him to be a US citizen. Ugh. The idea that Ted Cruz could be considered for the president. I mean, I think he's worse than Trump, honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think Ted Cruz is worse than Trump. At least Trump's consistently awful. Yeah, Safa, I think that's why John McCain was eligible to be US president, because the base was a US territory. Yeah, confirmation. If you're born on a military base, a US military base, US citizen. There you go. So, yeah. And again, this is the weird fucking loonies, the Obama birthers, trying so hard to say he wasn't born in the United States. And he was clearly, conclusively born in Hawaii. Because his dad wasn't an American citizen, I don't think. I think we all know his dad was African born. His mum was a US citizen. But Obama very clearly was. His fucking birth announcements in his local newspaper, which is a very cunning long-term ruse. Could you just imagine how stupid you would have to be to believe that was a conspiracy? It's like, yeah, all those years ago, this little half Kenyan baby, they thought he's going to be US president, so we'll fake a birth announcement in a Hawaii newspaper. Like, you'd have to be so stupid to think that was a thing. But as we have seen, particularly with the election of Trump and the worst people who are popping their heads up now, never predict the limits of stupidity, because there's always someone more stupid than you think. Yeah, oh my God, I'm in a Facebook group where people share just deranged conspiracies that usually right-wingers, not solely, but usually from the US. And it's called, man invents imaginary scenario, then gets angry about it. And there are just so many of these things that are obviously, completely, patently false. And these people circulate it on social media, and then they get foaming at the mouth, angry about it. And it's like, the fuck is wrong with you? That's obviously not real. Why the fuck would you work yourself up into a frenzy without doing 5 minutes of searching to validate it? It's ridiculous. Hey, Megalich, how's it going? Safa, no, it's your status at birth that dictates if you can be US president. That's why some people wanted to change the constitution so Arnold Schwarzenegger could run for president, because he would definitely win. Anyone born in the US is a citizen through a constitutional amendment. That's the 13th or 14th Amendment, isn't it? The natural born clause was part of the Constitution, because, of course, there were far more people at the formation of the United States who may not have been born in the continental United States. And yeah, Karen, it is fucking weird. And sometimes with the posts, you can tell this person made it up. And other times it's just, it's a meme, it's a screenshot, and it's been circulated by a huge number of people. And it's just like, fuck's sake. There are a bunch of legitimate things you can be angry, upset, or frightened by. Why make stuff up? It's, because people are assholes. It's just kind of, if you ever have too high an opinion of humanity, you just spend a bit of time on social media, and that'll soon get beaten out of you. And you soon be like, oh, wow, people fucking suck, don't they? Yes, they do. People suck. It's ridiculous. Ugh. Okay, I'm half tempted to have another drink. I don't know, what's this? Just coming up on 8 o'clock. Don't know how long Mrs. Angry is going to be on her call. I don't think I want another sweet. Maybe I'll just have a little one because I've got some pre-made cocktails, things I've batched and barrel aged. Karen saying George Washington was born in the US. There you go. My US history is not very good. Ah, yes. So Music Avid was born in Virginia. It would have been a territory at the time, I suppose. Hey, Noog, how you going? Megalich, God, that you've reminded me is the line from Men in Black, where Will Smith says, "Why don't we just tell people the truth about aliens? People can handle it. People are smart." And Tommy Lee Jones goes, "No, a person is smart. People are stupid and panicky." Hey, Jude, how you doing? I feel like that's something I should have known, Karen, that you're a vet. I'm sure that's something I knew. I wasn't very conscious of it. Yes. Well, of course they were all colonies. Yeah. The whole thing about the United States was declaring themselves a new thing. 8 years. 8 years army. Okay. Cool. Yeah, someone in my team at work's ex-RAFF, so he's always throwing military terms into our talk at work. I think he was in the Air Force for a long time. Lots of fun stories about parachuting and whatnot. Oh no, dude, fighting ant swarms. That's not good. There you go. So, Justin, the US law made you a citizen from birth. So, in theory, you could be president. There you go. Yes. Well, if I ran for Parliament in Australia, I wouldn't get caught up in those stupid fucking things that various people had from having dual citizenship, because both sides of my family are very multi-generational Australian born. For at least 4 to 8 generations Australian born. So there's something. All right. I just thought of something else I have in the fridge, but I don't want another sweet drink. So I think I'll just have a little bit of my batched old fashioned. My custom blend. Does anyone recognize the bottle? If you know alcohol bottles, that's a very recognizable bottle. And it's not a whiskey bottle. This is blend because I made like a liter to go in my barrel. I don't even remember how many whiskeys are in it. 3 to 5? It's probably what I put in it. Ding, ding, ding. Karen gets it. That is a Patron bottle. Definitely. Ages since I've actually had Patron. I just kept the bottle because I liked it because it's different. You dread walking into a room. Floor looks like it's moving. Oh, God, that's awful. So, Justin, first generation, dad's side, 6th generation on your mum's for US. No, Patron doesn't have a worm. My Mezcal does have a worm, and it actually inherited the worms from a previous Mezcal bottle. I couldn't bring myself to eat the worms, So when I finished the bottle of mezcal, I actually just transferred the worms to it. My current mezcal has the fun name Peloton de la Muerte, Death Squad. That's a cheery name for a beverage, isn't it? Death Squad mezcal. I mean, it looks a bit less threatening in Spanish, but yeah, but it's got 2 worms in it from the previous mezcal. I kind of like, it's always threatening to make AIDSy eat the worms. He comes over. But then again, he hasn't been over for a very long time because of how sick he's been. But he was. I don't know anyone who saw the stream last night. He was very chipper last night. Justin, you have American ancestors dating back to the First Fleet. I think you're mixing up your terminology there. First Fleet's Australia. I don't think that was there ever anything they called the First Fleet. I know, was it the famous thing is landing on Plymouth Rock, and I can never think of Plymouth Rock. All I hear was Denzel Washington as Malcolm X, because I don't know if Malcolm X ever really said this line, but Denzel does in the movie where he's Malcolm X, and just like shaking your fist, go, "We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us." Just like, I love that. Yes, that's it. Everyone talks about the Mayflower. Cow hugging vegan. Fun fact. Term is more descriptive than scientific. Yeah, well, in fact, the mezcal worms, they're obviously maggots. Or maybe caterpillars? They are definitely not what you regard as like earthworms. It's just they are colloquially called the worms. And I think these particular little things live in, burrow in, eat the agave plant that you make tequila and mezcal from. Sorry, Jude knows if Plymouth Rock landed on them, there'd be no pilgrims. Well, I think it was a metaphor. Okay, I'm going to... what comes up if I just type American First Fleet? Okay, United States, it's known as the First Fleet. Numbered fleet... Wait a sec. This is about a 20th century US Navy First Fleet. First Fleet disambiguation. First Fleet of South Australia. United States Home Fleet. All right, I am going to be the naysayer, Justin. That is from my extremely brief Google search. That is not a term that is in general usage, American First Fleet. I know people always refer to the Mayflower and landing on Plymouth Rock. But from my very cursory internet search, it's not a generally held term. Cow hugging vegan, I agree completely. It describes the shape rather than the species lineage. My favorite thing like that, I'm going to look it up. I think it's Stephen Jay Gould. Yes, it was attributed to Stephen Jay Gould. Reported after a lifetime studying fish, biologist Stephen Jay Gould concluded there's no such thing as a fish. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yes, Stephen Jay Gould, who spent his life studying aquatic animals, said all these different things that we call fish are so unrelated, are so different in terms of really actually identifying something. It's a useless term. There is no such thing as a fish, which is a fascinating insight and understandable it is because there is such a diverse range of things in oceans and rivers that we call fish. There's a degree of consistency. You go, oh, they're a fish, but then you get all this stuff on the fringes that people go, yeah, that's a fish, but it's so different to everything else. Megaleech has done the search. A mezcal worm, an insect larva found in some types of mezcal produced in Oaxaca. Larva is usually either gusano rojo, red worm, or chiniquil, maguey worm, caterpillar of a moth. Oh no, Dr. Abigail, still bleh. Yes, but Jude, I get where you're coming from, but fish is not a term. I guess it is. But that's the thing. I think his argument was some things that are called fish are more like reptiles and some are more like worms or something. It's weird. And no, I haven't watched episode 3 of Ring of Power today. I almost watched it today. I might watch it on my lunch break tomorrow. Yes, Noog, the QI people had a podcast called No Such Thing as a Fish. I may have even first heard that story that Stephen Jay Gould said there's no such thing as a fish. I might have heard that for the first time on Fish. And yes, also, Jude, in the whole mammals thing, mammals, the things that are described as mammals are extremely consistent, whereas the things that are described as fish have just wild divergence. Yes, the music aviator, Dr. Abigail did want to go to your concert. If you've missed it during the streams during the week, really not well with the spicy cough, as we say. Soldiering on. Hopefully the next week is better for you, Dr. Abigail. Hoping. But, yeah. Just random... No, maybe it's just because last time I went to Dr. Abigail's place, we went to bars and had drinks. It popped into my head. There's a booze festival coming up in Melbourne called Holy Water. Sounds really good. Like your entry fee gets you unlimited samples from the dozens of distillers that are there. It sounds really good, but it's in Williamstown, which you'd have to know the geography of Melbourne to know why that's awkward for me. And because if it's a fucking booze tasting thing, I'm not driving there. So I'm going to want to go on public transport. And it's going to take me about an hour and a half. And I'm not real keen. I don't mind an hour and a half to get there. But the idea of, kind of getting, you don't want to be fall over drunk, but I would imagine I'd be reasonably shit-faced. Spending an hour and a half on public transport. Oh my God, I just thought of an idea because it's just on the western side of the city. Maybe I could do it with Mrs. Angry, have a dirty weekend. Get a hotel room in the city. Ooh. Okay, I might explore that idea. Just for something fun and a bit different. Get a nice hotel room in the city and then just go to Williamstown back. I could do that. Hey, Rays, how you doing? You grew up in Willie. Okay. Rent a place, Quest on Nelson Place. Grew up a champion. Actually, even easier. There's probably a nice place to stay. Williamstown's nice. I used to live on that side. Yeah, actually staying somewhere the night in Williamstown might be an even better idea than doing it in the city. Oh, this has just occurred to me. I'm going to explore. Cow hugging vegan. That is not something I've ever heard. And I think you need to take into account the dinosaurs. I think they're around for hundreds of millions of years, certainly millions of years. Christ, it's my all right, so Raise, you reckon Quest is good. Okay. What's this one, McGleach? I'm not even going to try and pronounce these. Referred to as bony fish. Diverse taxonomic group of fish. Skeletons made of bone tissue. There you go. Also, it's right there on the pier. Cool. Ah, okay. Thanks for the tip, man. Safa, how far is Williamstown CBD? Not far. So mammals first appeared 178 million years ago. But dinosaurs were much longer than that, weren't they? This is not my area of expertise. I'd have to look it up. Williamstown. Saying it's 45 minutes by public transport. Driving is 20 minutes. It's like 12, 13 kilometers from the CBD, depending how you go. 20 minutes drive, 45 minutes public transport. There you go. Oh, well, fuck it. Yeah, maybe I'll stay. I just thought, that's a great idea. Maybe I'll just stay in Williamstown because this festival sounds really fucking good. So dinosaurs, 250 million years. Okay. So yeah, we all knew mammals did coexist with dinosaurs. So about 180 million years for mammals, 250 million years for dinosaurs. Okay. Sorry, Rose, I love that. Lived across the road from the cemetery. Crazy shit stories about that alone. Well, Safa, it's about 45 minutes to the public transport to the CBD. So hour and a half from my place to the Williamstown. So like 45 minutes to the city, then 45 minutes to Williamstown. That was, I think that was an old Far Side joke, wasn't it, Jude? About a squashed human in a dinosaur footprint. I still love, okay, Far Side, which was so big when I was growing up, the Far Side, Gary Larson's single frame comic. And that was so funny. And the science stuff was so funny. And he's like, I know I upset people by putting primitive humans with dinosaurs, but it was for comedic effect. And what I love, I think it's the Stegosaurus had the spiky bits on its tail, and there's like caveman scientists doing a slideshow to other cavemen and pointing at the spiky bits on the tail. Go, this part is called the Thagomizer, named after the late Thag Simmons. Scientists actually, literally, officially call that a Thagomizer now. That's just fucking brilliant. But again, his science jokes were so... Scientists loved the Far Side. Again, apart from the sacrilege of putting primitive humans in the same place as dinosaurs, which he just did for comedic effect. But his other science ones, scientists fucking loved The Far Side. The one, and this is like such a nerdy thing to find funny, but there was one with these two amoeba, and they were clearly denoted like a husband and wife, sort of like sitcom husband and wife, but they're amoebas. And the wife's nagging the husband, going, stimulus response, don't you ever think? Scientists found that hilarious. Yes, that was another hilarious thing Gary Larson did. The female of any species would be wearing cat's eye glasses, a pearl necklace, and red lipstick. It was fucking hilarious. He was so funny. I mean, he's still around. Very funny. Okay, this is a little thing I didn't know, Karen Vegan. Early mammals looked very reptile-like. See, way outside my area of expertise. What's that? Williamstown Football Club history. Ned Kelly played for the Seagulls. Nice. Were people playing? I suppose the Australian football was slowly evolved, very heavily influenced by Gaelic football. So it would make sense that an Irishman like Ned Kelly would play the local version. Safa, Ned Kelly's Lookout is fucking awesome because there literally is the lookout the Kelly gang used at one point. You can go there, you get there and look, and you go, oh my God, this is why this was their hideout. Look at it's this overhanging cliff, and you just have this expansive view. So if they had someone on lookout, if someone was coming looking for them, they would see them from friggin' miles away. It's a great spot. That's another one. Larson cartoon, two ghosts carrying bicycle horns, and one says to the other, we need some chains. Yes, that's the legend. The Melbourne Football Club created the Australian rules football to keep cricketers in shape in the off-season, winter. And it gradually developed a set of formalized rules. But yes, it has very, very obvious connections to Gaelic football. But evolved to become its own thing. Same thing as American football grew out of rugby, but became its own thing. And rugby league grew out of rugby union. They're very similar, a couple of distinctive differences, but rugby league and rugby union are very similar. Rugby league diverges less from rugby union than Australian rules football does from Gaelic football. And of course, American football is way different to rugby. So, yeah. People just like to make up their own things. And then you think of the parts of the world where they play very like sports that are like a hybrid between football and polo, and it's an animal's head that they're smacking about. It's humans. We like to chase things around and hit things and then get in teams and fight over it. The various versions of the sports ball that happen around the world. So now I want to look up best Far Side comics. We go best Far Side comics. Okay, I'm gonna find the best ones. Oh my God! Sorry, there's one of two pilots in flight looking out their front windows through the clouds, going, "Hey, what's a mountain goat doing way up here in a cloud bank?" Yikes! Or some cowboys of their stagecoach being held up by rabbits with guns. One of them saying, "This ain't going to look good on their report, Leroy." He also had a real thing for cows. Absolutely surreal jokes about cows. Or the real reasons dinosaurs became extinct, and there's all these dinosaurs standing around smoking cigarettes. Lee, listen to a song called Birth in Reverse by St. Vincent's about the death of American machine gun. Oh, well, there you go. So, Rays, if I get there, head to the back beach. Check out the convict engravings on the rocks. Cool as shit. Make a day of it. Ah, neat. Yeah, I lived around the Footscray and surrounding suburbs for a while when I was first in Melbourne, which is not far from Williamstown. It's always nice to have a day out in Williamstown, actually. I'm glad I've latched on to that idea. I'll have to float it with Mrs. Angry. Like, maybe we could do an overnight thing. Stay in accommodation in Williamstown, and then it would be much more chill. That's okay. That's my idea. I'm pitching it because honestly, this Holy Water Festival sounds really fucking good. Last time we did something like that was a cider festival. And this was years ago. And so you paid entry to the cider festival, and they gave you these tickets and said you like swap tickets for samples from these different cider vendors. And I remember thinking, that's a pissy amount of tickets. I feel ripped off. Anyway, by the end of the day, we'd only used 3/4 of the tickets, and we were pissed. Not falling over, but not wanting to drink anymore because we were pissed. And yeah, we had to get a tram home from there. Oof. And this one, Holy Water, says literally unlimited samples. I assume they're doing responsible service of alcohol, and if you're absolutely fucking scuttered, they won't give you any more. But damn. So Ray's sales pitch: if you stay in a hotel, go back to the room when you've had enough and just relax. Exactly. All right. I'm really liking that idea, actually. So, and because there's 2 sessions of this booze festival, there's an afternoon and an evening session. And I was thinking an afternoon session, but if we're going to stay in Williamstown, maybe an evening session. And they're doing some presentations of various things, but apparently there's just like a fucking shit ton of really cool distillers there. And like, seriously, I saw the list. If you just had like one sip of one thing from each of the distillers, you'd be pretty fucking drunk. But of course, the distillers are going to have more than one thing there. So I don't know if it's going to be like, a spit it out type thing. I'm not really like that with booze. I suppose I could be. You're like, hold it in your mouth for a bit and go, and then spit it out. Suppose you could do that. Get way less drunk that way. Still find something that you really like the taste of. In fact, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had spit buckets. The one thing I remember from the last cider festival we went to, one of the last ones we went to, is this mob who were really big noting themselves. They'd won a huge international award. No, I'd big note myself for that too. But their cider was super fucking dry, and neither Mrs. Angry nor myself likes really dry ciders. I don't want super sweet ciders, but at least sort of somewhere in the middle. And we'd been having all these things, that's yum, that's yum, that's yum. And these guys were really big noting themselves. We'll have to try this now. And take a sip, and both of us fucking hated it. But I was just trying to not be rude to the guy who's talking about how good they were. And I had a sip and was like, And I think I forced down the sip that I'd swallowed, and it's just like, okay, cheers. And I've got like, poured some in my glass, and I went, look at Mrs. Angry. It's like, is that the fucking worst or what? She goes, that's the worst. And we just tipped it in a bin. We were out of his line of sight. Again, I don't like being rude to people in situations like that. Yes, Dr. Abigail, I actually understand you being a fan of not being super sick. Being sick fucking sucks. I'm glad I never got really sick as a kid. Because could you imagine if you were a kid who got COVID? Now, again, most of the kids who got COVID got very mild cases or were asymptomatic. Some got pretty sick, though. Could you imagine in this fucking pandemic if you got sick and you felt really fucked and you knew this thing was killing people? That would be terrifying. That would be absolutely fucking terrifying. The fear of the unknown. God damn. So he's went to a beer fest in Perth. Didn't like it. Terrible experience. Well, I don't like beer. I do like cider. I did enjoy went to the cider festival 2 years in a row, I think. Quite liked it. Haven't seen it for a while. God, now I've got this idea of staying in fucking Williamstown for the night. I think I'm going to do it. Oh, you're not a kid, Dr. Abigail. You're going to be fine. Well, it sucks at the moment. You're in the, I'm really sick. This sucks. No, you're going to be fine. I am now telling you, you're going to be fine. It's just, I think kids have a much bigger fear of the unknown because it's literally the unknown. But I think you're soldiering through a really shitty illness, and you'll come through the other side. But yeah, it's a shitty fucking. I don't want to get it again. It's kind of like, I fucking hate people who go, just like a cold. No, you get sick. I don't. I was pretty mild for me the first time. I don't want to get it another time because there's other variants now that at this point I've probably got no fucking resistance to other variants. I'm hoping there's supposed to be Omicron specific vaccine available soon. I freaking hope so. I'll be getting it the day I fucking qualify for it. I tell you what. All right, Mrs. Angry's finished her call. So I'm going to finish this stream. Jude, maybe you're right. Maybe adults fear the unknown. I don't know. I was trying to be deep and meaningful and probably failing. But I'm going to go and watch something. Mrs. Angry now. So you all take care. I'm probably not doing a stream on Tuesday, but who knows? Anything could happen. Failing that, I'll see you on Thursday. Karen, very nice to see you again. Thank you so much for dropping in. And people from the far-flung parts of the world. Jude, thank you for hanging out too. You all take care. I'll see you another time. But